It's Startup Visa March Madness. Are you ready? We have 2 videos being released this week. Let's get started. Hello, my name is Reza and I work with the Ingwe immigration team helping applicants move to Canada. Whether it's for yourself, your kids, your business, or all of the above, we do make it happen. Let me make this clear. I'm not an actual full-time YouTuber, but I work hands-on with our licensed team working on actual applications and communicating within the immigration department and overseas embassies on a daily basis, representing our clients. These videos are made for the purpose of sharing our hands-on immigration knowledge with our worldwide audience. And if you're thinking about immigrating to Canada, well, we can help. Get a free email assessment by filling out the form below this video for eligible applicants. Processing time, statistics, and facts about approval and refusal rates in the Canadian Startup Visa program. Is it better to receive a letter of support from a designated organization? What support will these designated organizations provide to their startup groups? Why is the IRCC so silent in terms of publicly announcing the results of these programs which were launched back in 2013. Although the government decided end of last year to multiply the number of applications it can process under this category for the next 3 years. These are all unsolved mysteries that neither me or anyone else can have a clear answer to. However, what we can do is look into the numbers and statistics published by the IRCC to indicate the trends. Using this method, we can potentially understand this specific program and the results it provides for its applicants and potentially answer these daunting questions that nobody has an answer to. Why is it that when you search for startup visa approval rates on Google, all the major articles on the first page indicate 75% or higher approval rates in this program, when this is not the truth? Is it a conspiracy? Are the agents, consultants, and lawyers making too much money in this program for anyone to tell the truth? The secret is in the numbers. If you can decipher the statistics, then the real information will be clear to you. The only challenge is that the official government statistics are always lagging. Another important fact to consider is although work permit refusals under the Startup Visa program have successfully been challenged in federal court, as of this date, March 13, 2023, no startup visa PR application refusal has been successful in judicial review. So far, up to October 2021, since January 2013, the number of successful individual applications under the Startup Visa program via the designated business incubator category were 1,020 applicants. The total number of PR applications processed under the Startup Visa program from January 2013 to March 2022 have been 1,425 principal applicants with 2,921 dependents. The peak processing time for the Startup Visa cases were decisions which were rendered by the IRCC during Q3 and Q4 from the statistics we've seen from 2021 and 2022. So you can expect to receive the most number of decision letters from IRCC for your startup visa group in the next 6 to 9 months from the release of this video. As of 2018, the most startup visa refusal cases came from BC. It also had the highest volume of applicants as well. Until March 2022, the province of BC had 18 approvals and 3 refusals, and Ontario had 27 approvals and 5 refusals. New Brunswick, Newfoundland, Nova Scotia, and Prince Edward Island had no refusals from 2019 until March of 2022. Out of the total of 1,425 startup visa application processed under this category, 504 were from designated organization in BC, 654 from Ontario. In third place was Manitoba with 79, and Alberta and Prince Edward Island were tied at fourth place with 57 each. Let's look at the most common IRCC refusal reasons from 2018 to 2021. Number 1 reason was section 98 subsection 1. An officer may substitute their evaluation of the applicant's ability to become economically established in Canada for the requirements set out in subsection 9801 subsection 2. If meeting or failing to meet those requirements is not a sufficient indicator of whether the applicant will become economically established in Canada. This reason is typically used when the applicant does not have the education or work experience to fulfill their role in a C-level position in the startup group, like a CEO, COO, CIO, CTO. This is a very common reason IRCC officers use and would be concurred by a second officer as well for such a refusal reason. The second most common refusal reason is related to the section 2.5, stating that an applicant is not to be considered a member of the startup business class if the applicant intends to participate or has participated in an agreement or an arrangement in respect of the commitment primarily for the purpose of acquiring status or privilege under the Act and not for the purpose of engaging the business activity for which the commitment was intended. This basically means your true intentions were immigration, not to actually start or run a business. And the third most common refusal, as per the statistics, is 89 subsection 1b. For the purpose of this division, an applicant in the startup business class is not considered to have met the applicable requirements of this division if the fulfillment of those requirements is based on one or more transactions that were entered into primarily for the purpose of acquiring a status or privilege under the Act rather than for the purpose of engaging in the business activity for which a commitment referred to in paragraph 9801(2)(a) was intended. This reason basically means in layman's terms that you as an applicant or group paid the designated organization for the letter of support and or business concept, and the transaction cannot be considered arm's length. Work permit approval rates for the startup visa program from 2015 to October 2021 were 100% in 2015 and always above 90% until 2021, where 428 cases processed under the exemption code A77. Unfortunately, the truth now is that the refusal rates in high volume countries such as India, Pakistan, Africa, Middle East, Vietnam, and Hong Kong have now been hovering around 50% due to IRCC's internal new policies implemented in Q3 of 2022, which was never publicized. More and more federal court cases have come about. There was even a case where 24 members of multiple startup visa group members were refused for a work permit from a specific country, and they combined their efforts and negotiated a deal with the Department of Justice for a reconsideration with a threat to take this to federal court. The moral of the story here is that there is power in numbers. When you file for judicial review on your own, it's not as powerful as 20 or 30 or even more applicants filing together who have strong cases. As of April 2022, approximately 115 applications pending under the angel investor category to be processed by IRCC, 312 pending in the incubator category. In the angel investor category, Canadian international angel investors had the largest volume of applicants. And in the incubator space, York, Empower, Spark, and Biomedical Commercialization Canada had the largest volume of applicants under the startup visa program. In the venture capital category, only 6 pending applications waiting in the IRCC backlog. Iran, India, and Hong Kong were #1 source countries for applicants under the startup visa program, followed closely by China and Vietnam. No wonder during the months of March and April, many designated organizations across Canada are visiting and hosting events in India, Vietnam, and Hong Kong to promote the startup visa program. That's why we call it Startup Visa March Madness. Considering all these statistics and of course the refusal approval rates of the startup visa program being anywhere from 50 to 65% in the past 1 to 2 years, and one of the lowest out there in terms of the business immigration programs in Canada. And how can applicants protect themselves with such a high refusal rate? Imagine trying to invest in a company in the public or private markets based on the financial statements from 2 years ago and not current ones, or at least the ones from the last financial year. The key is to know that startup visa can be your best friend if you know which designated organization to work with, which startup groups to join, and how to plan the 1.5 year processing time in terms of activities for your startup visa group. There are designated organizations out there who have blank letters of support ready to be printed on the spot, or even issue letters of support without any business concept or idea, and then reverse order make up the business concept later on. Oops. Maybe I shouldn't have said that if somebody from IRCC is listening right now. How can you get support from the designated organization after the letter of support, since this factor is a critical part of your successful application? It's simple. You need to pay to play, which means you will need to purchase an add-on after you've received the letter of support. Either you purchase these post-letter of support services through your designated organization or through a partner of the designated organization. Let's review the latest processing times for the startup visa program PR applications. They're now coming closer to 1.5 years instead of the traditional 2.5 years from the start of COVID-19. IRCC is trying to catch up on all the processing times. These are the facts you should know. The 3-year plan announced by the existing Canadian government has increased startup visa application processing from 1,250 to 4,000. Considering the above fact, we are now seeing multiple IRCC offices across Canada starting to review and process startup visa PR applications. IRCC requests for review letters under the startup visa program have been received from locations such as Vancouver Processing Center, Whitehorse in the Yukon Territories, Edmonton, and so forth. We're confident these letters will be issued from every single processing center, as they're trying to squeeze every drop of processing capacity from inside Canada. This is why new startup visa applicants should expect much faster processing times compared to applicants who submitted their applications in 2020 or later. Processing times for startup visa work permit applications have also improved. Although the approval rates have dropped, the processing times in Middle East and Southeast Asia, including India, are now anywhere from 1.5 to 3 months on average. We do see Africa and the GCC still lagging behind these processing times. However, certain countries in Latin America, all of Europe, and of course the US are still the fastest processing times in terms of any work permit categories. And there you have it, folks, your daily dose of the startup visa news, policy, and stats. And don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. If you're thinking about immigrating to Canada, whether permanently or temporarily, maybe through the startup visa program or another business immigration program, you're at the right place. I can guarantee you only one point. You will know what to expect, the entire process clearly laid out for you, and all the risks identified, including costs. There will be no surprises in terms of expenses or costs, just results. Our team speaks over 8 languages, and we help applicants from over 49 different countries during their immigration process. And this list is growing every day. Click the link below this video and get a free email assessment for eligible applicants. Stay tuned for our next Thursday live session on YouTube. See you next Thursday.